everybody. So it's Wednesday. I'm going live for our Wednesday live stream. So Intuitive Eating Wisdom Wednesday. It is a little later in the day. Hoping some of you will join me live. And I'm just going to check on my end the tech stuff. So just give me a moment while I wait for some people to join us. Okay, good. We are working. We are live. It is Wednesday, my friends. That means, we don't need to hear me on my phone as well. Okay, got that off. We are talking intuitive eating. We are talking debunking the number one diet myth about diet and weight loss myth. And anything else you want to talk about if you join me live, always do your best to put our Wednesday trainings in your calendar. I love to interact with you. So if you are here with me, use the comment section to chat, answer some questions that I'll be posing, share your thoughts, your challenges. And if you're on replay, just do that with a hashtag replay and I'll get tagged and I'll come back. All right, so a couple things before we get started on today's topic. Number one, it is November in 2 days. I know, I can't believe it. But the good news is that means I am enrolling into the next Whole Body Trust Intuitive Eating class. So that is getting started now. I have about 2 to 3 spots left. If you're interested to learn more about my intuitive eating coaching program, then please reach out to me. You can either do that by commenting below this video. You can private message me by clicking on my name. Either way, you can even email me, bonnie@dietfreeradiantme.com. Either way, you can just request a time to talk with me, and we can talk all about what the program entails, what the options are for you, and if it's a right fit for you. So if you've been if you're new to this group, if you're here for a long time, if you've kind of been working on intuitive eating on your own or with all the free resources that are out there, but you're still feeling stuck, then it might be time for you to get a little bit of support. Support can come in many different ways. So let me know. Again, I'm enrolling into the November group and would love to talk with you to see if it's maybe something that is right for you at this point of your life. Remember, we're heading to the end of the year. I don't want you to get sucked into the diet culture messages that come around this time of year. We all know what they are, and they're quite annoying. So don't get sucked into that. Instead, put a plan in place so that you can finally attune to those signals, trust your body, trust yourself with food. So today we are talking about the number one diet and weight loss myth. I am going to debunk it. So again, if you've been stuck in diet mentality, right? Maybe you even still are, even though, you're in this group, it's okay because the diet mentality is really, really sneaky. So even though we say, I've given that up, I'm not doing that anymore. So you're not consciously dieting. Sometimes some of your thoughts can lead to certain actions that are in fact really dieting. So, and you may not be aware of that, but either way, if you have a past history of really trying to find the quote unquote right diet that's going to help you achieve that quote unquote ideal body, you probably have found yourself scrolling the internet, right? Like just searching for, so how can I do this? How can I lose this weight? And how can I do that fast? Because that's what diet culture always tells you, that it's always fast. And I'm sure you've tried multiple diets, you've tried your own self-designed diets, and you've always started out with that enthusiasm, right? Like this is going to be different, this is going to be the one. But soon enough, you obviously realize that, well, the restrictions, that whatever the diet is that you have been trying, well, it leaves you feeling frustrated, feeling deprived, feeling really disappointed, right? And so I am sure through your research, and you don't even have to really research, you can scroll social media, there are so many people that just tout the whole calories in, calories out. Like weight loss is, so easy. Just, this whole calories in, calories out, you got to take in, less calories, and you've got to burn more calories, and that's it. You'll lose the weight. Well, you've maybe, first of all, false. That's number one. That's what I want to debunk today. But maybe you yourself have tried meticulously tracking every calorie, every macro, restricting your food in an effort to really fit into a certain number of calories and then burn off a certain amount of calories so you can hopefully see the scale go down. And at first, maybe it seems effective, and certainly logically, you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But over time, you hit this roadblock, you hit this plateau, and you find that, you know what? This type of approach is a chore, and at the end of the day, doesn't work for sustainable weight loss unless you are going to be a professional calorie counter and restrictor. And who wants to do that? It really ruins your life because it impacts all your social engagements and all the fun things you can do in your life, because you're so busy being, the head is so busy with numbers, right? So the constant counting, the constant measuring, the constant all of that just, ends up really leading to feelings of guilt and feelings of shame when eat more than the calories you wanted to, right? And then you end up with a really negative relationship with food. So here's the thing. While this concept might, again, sound like it holds some truth, it's often very much oversimplified, okay? It is quite actually a complex a relationship between food, body, and weight. So it's just not that simple. And so that myth really overlooks many crucial factors that influence your weight. So I want to kind of run through some of what those are. Number one, hormonal balance. So hormonal balance plays a significant role in regulating your hunger, your metabolism, and your fat storage. So factors such as stress, sleep, and your quote-unquote diet, what you eat or don't eat, can disrupt your hormonal balance, and that can make weight loss even more complex than just simply counting calories, right? So if you have imbalances, for example, in insulin is a hormone that lowers your blood sugar, right? Or leptin, which is known as your fullness hormone, or ghrelin, known as your hunger hormone. All of these things can lead to increased hunger and cravings, and absolutely plays a role ultimately in your weight, whether you lose or gain weight. So it's not as simple as calories in, calories out to help you and help you to lose that weight. We have to look at hormones. We have to look at the hormonal balance and imbalances that might be at play. Second is your metabolism. Everyone's metabolism operates at a different rate, right? It is influenced by your age, by genetics, by muscle mass, by your activity level. A one-size-fits-all calorie deficit approach does not account for these individual differences, and it leads to different results for different people. So especially as you age, when we know that metabolism changes, and especially as we age, we know our muscle mass changes, right? Which is really why it's so very important. And I work with my clients, with my female clients, as we age, to really work on building our muscle mass. It's so very important. But all of these things will impact weight loss, weight gain, how one, or let's just say, weight, quote unquote, management. The third piece here is genetics, right? We can't forget genetics. Your genetic makeup can and does determine how your body stores fat, your metabolic rate, your body's natural set point for weight. There's a set point weight that we are all born with, that is in our genetic blueprint. So some people might find it easier to lose weight due to, certain genetics, while others have a harder time to achieve those same results. So we have to consider genetics as well. And then finally, gut health. Your gut, right? So your microbiome in your gut plays a very vital role in digestion, metabolism, and your overall health. When there's an imbalance in the gut bacteria, it can affect how your body processes food and how it regulates hunger, potentially leading to weight gain. A diet rich in fiber, a diet rich in fermented foods can support a healthy gut. But again, we have to look at each individual's gut health and bacteria and the microbiome, because all of that also impacts your weight. So not only does the calories in versus calories out, oh, it's just as simple as that. I mean, I recently heard somebody on the internet kind of touting this, ladies, it's just calories in versus calories out. No, it's not. So not only does it ignore these really critical factors, it is just ineffective. And here's why this method doesn't work. Number one, it is nearly impossible to accurately calculate, calories. Calorie calculators that come with the apps and things like that, right? They depend on averages and they really cannot pinpoint the exact calorie intake that is, number one, suited for you, your personal being, with complete accuracy, and they can only estimate. So, in addition to that, our bodies process calories differently. So the amount shown on the calorie counter does not reflect necessarily what is actually absorbed in your body. So it is really purely theoretical. So we can't really 100% rely on that with accuracy. And when you're calorie counting, you are, like a sergeant to the T. That's what diet culture, wants you to do. That whole, perfection piece, right? I have met with women who, if they went over their calorie allotment by 5 calories, were throwing a fit at themselves, right? Number two, not all calories are absorbed the same way. Not all calories are equal, right? Calories are measured as energy. So all calories indeed have the same amount of energy. So 100 and whatever, 80 calories of, blueberries equals 180 calories of something else, right? I mean, it's the same number of calories, right? But the way they're processed in the human body is just way more complex than that and different. There's a series of processes that work together in the body to really regulate your energy balance. And so, this energy balance is affected, or it's affected by various factors like metabolism and the thermic effect of food, physical activity, and each of the macronutrients, your carbs, your proteins, your fats, right, affects these processes differently. So what we do know is that protein has a higher thermic effect than fat or carbohydrate, meaning it requires more energy to digest, absorb, and metabolize. And so, even if two foods contain the same number of calories, a high protein meal, for example, might result in an overall calorie intake that might be somewhat lower. So not all foods are created equal, so to speak, right? So the calories in, calories out mindset, and just that whole theory focuses only on the number of calories. It doesn't focus on any of these other things. It doesn't focus on the quality or the composition of the calories, the thermic effect, etc., which is so very important. And let's just be real. It's just not sustainable. It's not a sustainable lifestyle, right? This whole idea doesn't take into the account that, your body does adapt to severe restrictions on calories. So if you're counting calories, if you are really restricting calories, so you take in less, you burn more, when your body detects that there is a consistent drop in your caloric intake, your energy, right, it's going to perceive a threat for survival. And so as a result, it instinctively activates a series of physiological responses to defend itself against this perceived danger. And that is what we know as the starvation mode, which I'm sure you've heard of. And so all these things slow the metabolism down, right? So when you keep your intake low, when you really restrict your calories for weight loss purposes to fit within this calories in, calories out concept, right? It leads to a slower metabolism, a loss in both muscle as well as fat, but muscle as well, lean tissue, and it causes a decline in your metabolic rate. And so your body starts to burn fewer calories at rest, making it harder to maintain weight loss over time. In addition, there's this change in energy usage. So when you consistently eat fewer calories, your body initially uses stored glycogen. It's a form of carbohydrate from the liver and the muscles for energy. And once those glycogen stores are depleted, your body will now need to prioritize holding onto fat stores while using up other energy sources such as muscle tissue, which is easier to break down. And then this shift leads to muscle loss with which further lowers your metabolic rate, making it even harder to burn calories and maintain weight loss over time. Let's also not forget the very important part of calorie counting and really being meticulous about that. It increases your cortisol level because it causes stress. There's stress from strict dieting, stress from calorie counting absolutely elevates your cortisol levels. That's your hormone that, is your stress response hormone. And that therefore triggers your body to store more fat, most importantly to know, particularly around your abdomen, which is the worst for your health. In addition, it suppresses hunger. So while you're calorie restricting, yes, maybe it leads to temporary weight loss, right? It often results in increased hunger signals and cravings. This is where your body is trying to save you. Your brain is like, oh, what is happening here? She's eating very little. She's lowering her, her weight. She's below her set point weight. I better make her, start to have increased hunger signals so that she eats. So we get her right back to what her natural weight set point is. So ultimately, what ends up happening is there's this whole initially a suppression of hunger signals, and then your body is getting you to be more hungry. It's triggering it. So eventually you quote unquote overeat. And at the end of the day, you're disconnecting from your bodily cues. And it makes it so much more difficult to actually even know when you're hungry and full anymore, right? I was just talking to a client today and she's like, yeah, I don't know, from all my years of dieting, I don't even know what fullness feels like anymore. And I'm like, that's okay. We'll get back to that, right? So let me emphasize and re-emphasize for you. Calorie counting, restricting your calories, only focusing on the calories in, calories out, is not going to ultimately help you lose weight in a sustainable long-term fashion. Diets are set up to fail, hands down. They promise you quick fixes. They do not address the deeper, more sustainable changes that are needed to achieve long-lasting health and a body that is strong and that is confident and that is well. So, following this calories in and calories out mindset will create a cycle of obsession and frustration, and your body is not necessarily going to perform for you or respond in a way that you think that you're looking for or you predict it will. So what if instead of obsessing over the scale, instead of obsessing over numbers and how many calories am I taking in and how many calories am I burning, you focus on how you feel in your body. You focus on connecting back to hunger and fullness and trusting those signals as your guide. Imagine focusing on nourishing your body, listening to the cues, building this positive, beautiful relationship with food. Okay, so understand it's not about the quick fixes. It's about adopting these habits that fuel your well-being in the long term. So physical health as well as your mental health, right? So instead of counting calories, consider the quality of the food you're eating. Prioritizing the whole nutrient-rich foods that nourish your body, provide you with energy, that make you feel just energized and totally confident, right? All of these things, like without worrying about this whole nonsensical calories in and calories out piece, okay? So it's really time to shift away from this diet mentality and from this one particular myth around dieting and weight loss. Please understand that it does not work, and it's missing so much, sort of like that I just went through for the last few minutes. You absolutely deserve to feel empowered. You absolutely deserve to be at peace with food, and be at peace with your body. So start challenging that mindset. Start challenging those things you see on the internet that are just trying to get you to stay in the dieting cycle. And please stand up against the New Year's messages that are coming down the pipe anytime now. If you may see them already, but we're going to hit November and it's going to bombard you. So with that said, I will remind you that I'm now enrolling women into the November class for Whole Body Trust, my intuitive eating coaching program. Please reach out to me if you'd like to talk. You can comment below the word call, or I'd like to talk with you, request a conversation. We'll get in the DMs. That's just private message me if you want to talk. We can get on a Zoom call. We can get on a phone call, whatever it is, to see if it's right for you. You don't need to do this alone, and maybe this is your time, so do let me know. Comment below, hashtag replay, any thoughts, comments, questions as well on today's live stream. And I will talk with you all real soon. Have a great rest of your day.